like to start with your story. What happened in your personal life?
So my husband passed away unexpectedly last year. So it's March 4th was a 1-year anniversary for us, and he was 30.
She wrote a children's book about grief. She read it on morning television. She smiled. She talked about her boys. She said losing her husband was the hardest thing she had ever been through. And the audience cried with her. But investigators weren't crying. They were watching, because they had already seen the toxicology report. And the woman on that screen? They believed she hadn't lost her husband at all. They believed she had killed him. Francis, Utah, a small mountain town about 40 miles southeast of Salt Lake City. Clean air, pine trees, quiet roads. It looked like the kind of place nothing bad ever happened. Kouri and Eric Richins had built a life there. 3 sons, a big house, a real estate business. The whole picture. To outsiders, it looked like success, but behind closed doors, it was something else entirely. Eric Richins was a hard worker. He had money, insurance policies, assets. And Kouri? Kouri had expensive taste. She was flipping houses, taking on debt, spending. By the time investigators started looking closely at the Richins marriage, they found something staggering. Kouri was millions of dollars in debt. Millions. And Eric was the only thing standing between her and financial ruin. Or so it seemed. Because what investigators discovered next would rewrite everything. Between 2015 and 2017, Kouri Richins took out 4 life insurance policies on her husband. 4. Eric didn't know she had signed the paperwork herself, and prosecutors said she had forged his signature to close on a multi-million-dollar property deal the very day after he died. But here's what makes this story chill you to the bone. Eric Richins knew something was wrong. He had started pulling away, updating his will, trying to remove Kouri as a beneficiary. He had even told friends. He thought she had tried to kill him before. Once on a trip to Greece, and again on Valentine's Day 2022. Valentine's Day. Eric called 2 friends that afternoon. He told them he felt like he was going to die after eating a sandwich Kouri had left him, with a love note attached. He survived, but he wouldn't survive for long. March 3rd, 2022. Kouri made Eric a Moscow Mule. She said it was to celebrate closing on a property, a nice night, just the 2 of them. He drank it in bed. She said she left to comfort one of their boys who was having a nightmare. She said she left her phone charging in the room. She said when she came back, Eric was cold. Just after 3 a.m., she called 911. Responders arrived and declared Eric Richins dead at the scene. He was 39 years old. The medical examiner ran a toxicology report. What they found was not what a grieving widow would want anyone to find. 5 times the lethal dose of fentanyl in his blood. Not medical-grade fentanyl, illicit fentanyl. The kind you don't get from a doctor. The kind you have to go looking for. And it had been ingested orally. Someone had put it in something he drank. Police started asking questions, and Kouri's story started falling apart. She said her phone was charging in the bedroom while she comforted her son, but phone data told a different story. Her phone had been opened during that time, messages had been sent, and then deleted. That was enough for investigators to get a search warrant. Inside the house, they found a second iPhone, hidden in Kouri's bedside drawer. They also found a letter. Investigators called it the Walk the Dog letter. In it, Kouri appeared to be coaching her own mother on what to say about Eric, suggesting he had obtained pain pills from Mexico and stored them in his truck. She was already building a story, pointing the blame somewhere else, before she had even been charged. And there was one more thing, an affair. Kouri had been seeing another man. His name was Robert Grossman. Investigators found messages between them, intimate messages, future planning messages, messages where Kouri talked about wanting a life with him. And then Grossman took the stand. He testified against her. He told the court she had once asked him if he had ever killed anybody. Here is the part that nobody could quite believe. About a year after Eric died, Kouri Richins published a children's book. She called it Are You With Me? It featured a father with angel wings watching over his young son. She appeared on local television to promote it. She talked about how it helped her boys heal. She smiled for the camera. What the audience didn't know was that investigators were already building a case against her. What they also didn't know was that Kouri hadn't even written the book herself. Text messages shown at trial revealed that a ghostwriter had written it for her. She had put her name on a grief book about a husband she was accused of poisoning, and she had used it to shape the story the world saw: a grieving widow, a devoted mother, a survivor, not a suspect. Kouri Richins was arrested in May 2023. She pleaded not guilty. Her defense attorneys argued the investigation was sloppy, biased, that prosecutors couldn't prove how Eric ingested the fentanyl, that the evidence was paper thin. The defense called 0 witnesses. Kouri did not testify. The prosecution called over 40. Friends who said Kouri told them she felt trapped in her marriage. A friend who testified Kouri said it would be better if Eric were dead. A forensic accountant who laid out the millions in debt. A housekeeper who testified that Kouri had asked for what she called Michael Jackson stuff. A reference, prosecutors suggested, to a powerful sedative. The jury heard it all. And then they deliberated for less than 3 hours. March 2026, the jury returned guilty. Guilty of aggravated murder. Guilty of attempted aggravated murder for the Valentine's Day poisoning. Guilty of forgery. Guilty on 2 counts of insurance fraud. All 5 charges. Kouri Richins bowed her head as the verdict was read aloud. Eric's sister, Amy, stood outside the courthouse afterward. She said they were all in shock, that it had been a long time coming. Very happy, she said, that we got justice for my brother. Eric Richins was 39 years old. He had 3 sons who needed their father. He had tried to protect himself. He had sensed the danger. He had told people what he feared. And still, nobody stopped it in time. Kouri Richins now faces either 25 years to life in prison or life without the possibility of parole. Her sentencing is scheduled for May 13th, Eric's birthday. There's a children's book still out there with a father watching over his son from above. Most people who read it thought it was beautiful. A mother helping her children heal. But now they know what the jury knows. It wasn't a tribute. It was a cover story. And the man on the cover never got a chance to tell his side. What do you think really happened in this case? Drop your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more stories like this.